Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm Shelly Prosko and I'm here with Nick Tumminello from Florida, and we are going to talk about today, is body resistance training or using your body as resistance enough for strength and for muscle strength and conditioning.
Yep.
So Nick, introduce yourself and tell everybody why we should listen to someone like you. Oh, and by the way, we're in beautiful Costa Rica. So
yeah, hence the surf shorts and the sun
and the sweat
and working on getting tan.
Yeah. So what's so great about you?
Well, I appreciate that. Hard time talking about myself here. So just a quick on me. I won NSCA National Strength Conditioning Association Personal Trainer of the Year this year, 2016. Well, it's 2017 as we do this time of this video. I owned a gym in Baltimore, Maryland for 10 years where I trained professional athletes, to MMA fighters, to figure girls and bodybuilders, to, of course, everyday Joes and Janes of all ages, to the hard cases in post-rehabilitation. I've written peer-reviewed articles, all the way to articles in pretty much every major magazine, Men's Fitness, Oxygen, Fitness RX, you name it. So I've kind of done across the board with the education thing for trainers, and I also go around the world teaching trainers at major conferences and fitness clubs. So to answer the question, the question is just body weight resistance enough to continue to build on an ongoing basis strength and muscle? So this is an answer that's not a yes, it's not necessarily a no, it's a yes and no. So let's unpack that a little bit. There's a lot of things in the gym that we call, or exercise that we call BroScience, which means they don't have any basis in legitimate scientific evidence, but they're talked about among exercise enthusiasts as if they are facts.
Okay.
And one of those claims is that you can't build muscle without doing bodybuilding type exercises, and then there's the standard rep range that most people talk about, which is tends to be 3 sets of 8 to 12, 8 to 15 repetitions. But this has now been researched and been looked at, and what it's found is that higher reps using lower loads relative to one's strength build muscle. Scientifically it's called muscle hypertrophy, just as effectively as heavier weights lifted for less reps. Interestingly, there's a few other nuances here. If you are looking for a more time efficient workout, then actually higher reps require less sets, right? The sets take longer than doing sets of 4, but the whole entire workout to get the same amount of volume. So for example, if I want to do 30 total reps of a given exercise, let's say a horizontal push, so a bench press could be a horizontal push, or a push-up could be a horizontal push. Let's say 50 total reps, let's say. I could do 5 sets of 10, or I could do 2 sets of 25, same accumulative volume. So when volume is equated across the board, results in hypertrophy were equalized. So obviously it has to be relative intensity. Has to be a part of that as well. So if I can bang out 50 reps of push-ups easily, but 5 sets of 10 on the bench press are pushing me hard at reps 9 and 10, well, now we're not equating intensity a little bit. So that's the challenge. But those 2 sets fly by a lot quicker than the 5 sets of bench press. So anyway, that's what the research says, and that research is more important and is certainly more reliable than whatever guru is in anybody's gym. So you can. Now, the other nuance is there's a neuromuscular benefit. So what we talked about is a physiological benefit. So physiologically, you can put on muscle from doing higher reps, lower weight. All right? So that would be body weight training.
Okay. So yoga. So doing
well, so
weight,
yeah, to a point. Now yoga we got to be careful with that one, because yoga a lot of times just has holds. It's not necessarily concentric, eccentric, like a push-up.
Okay.
So I would say, to a point, if you're a beginner, anything would do it, but then you'd have to continually add an overload challenge as you get stronger. And that's where yoga may limit you unless you do some sort of hybrid yoga where you're incorporating lots of push-ups and squats and things where you're incorporating lots of eccentric.
Yeah,
so that's
movement, not just your basic classical asana poses, but like you said, a hybrid where you're actually moving and doing some concentric and eccentric.
Yeah. So we got to be careful not to conflate what I'm saying to that means a yoga class, because if that was true, then we'd certainly see some people who are just all jacked up from pure yoga, and we rarely do we see that. So you need a continual overload challenge. So if you get good at doing 40 reps, then you'd have to push it to 45 and 50. So you'd have to add overload. So you can overload by more reps, lower load or more weight for the same
Okay,
amount of
and
reps.
that's what the research, that's what the science is saying.
That's what the research has demonstrated. Now, the other aspect is there is neuromuscular benefits, which are very specific to the movement. So if your goal is to get stronger, so notice in the beginning of this we talked about strength and muscle. So if you're looking at being able to move heavier loads, so if your goal is to be able to pick up, larger weight in a deadlift or move, more weight in a lat pull down or something like that, well, that would require more specificity of that particular movement. All right? So doing lots of body weight squats may have some carryover to picking up more weight on a barbell squat. But the thing that's going to have the most strength carryover to doing heavy barbell squats for sets of 4, sets of 5 would be doing heavy barbell squats for sets of 4 and sets of 5. So that's a more of a neuromuscular component. On the flip side, if you're looking at more strength endurance to be able to continue to hit the same amount of force output over a longer period of time, well then higher reps, lower load will do that because that's more specific to the demand that's on the body. So that's why it's a yes or no answers.
Absolutely, yeah, makes sense.
So one is a general adaptation. Can you build muscle? Yes. If you're looking for a specific adaptation to a task, strength or strength endurance, then the task needs to reflect the goal.
Got it. I'm crystal clear. I hope you are. That was awesome. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, this is so fun. And so where can people find you? Tell us about your...
I'm easy to find. I've written 2 books. They're both on Amazon bestsellers in weight training. One is called Building Muscle and Performance, came out 2016. And then 2014 book, Strength Training for Fat Loss. And you can find me on the web, Nick Tumminello or performanceu.net or nicktumminello.com.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Okay. Mwah. Namaste.